The truth is so hard to find. With all the things that's going on, I lost track, I felt so strong. I got you on my mind, but something's been done wrong. Sometimes I've been thinking of what to make of me and my memories. Sometimes I've been thinking of, dreaming of what it could have been besides memories. 'Cause I still need you.
fade in your eyes. I'm lost in space, floating away. Look at the stars, they find me. You shine so bright, it haunts me. I'm lost in this thick black sea of hopes for you and me. In the night I see you walking my way, sailing on my soul on your light. Come find me, I'm reaching out.
I close my eyes, I can almost see it. When I take a breath, you fill up my lungs. And if my mind worked backwards just for a minute, I'd hold on to you before the memory's gone. I remember you, you left my spirit. With you high is all I'm feeling. Remember how we felt alive. I remember you, you make me stronger. Can't go without it much longer. Remember, remember, I remember you, you left my spirit. With you high is all I'm feeling. Remember how we felt alive. I remember you, you make me stronger. Can't go without it much longer. Remember, remember.
Say I'm good-hearted, but I'm just getting started. Got my eyes on the target. No, no. Till the battle's won, till kingdom come. I'll never run. Best to give me your loyalty, 'cause I'm taking the world, you'll see. They'll be calling me, calling me. They'll be calling me royalty. Best to give me your loyalty, 'cause I'm taking the world, you'll see. They'll be calling me, calling me. They'll be calling me royalty. They say I'm dangerous 'cause I broke all their cages. No, I won't sit and take it. No, no. They left me for dead, I guess I'll never learn. Every time I break, there's just more pain to burn. They'll never, never, never learn. Till the battle's won, till kingdom come. I'll never run. Best to give me your loyalty, 'cause I'm taking the world, you'll see. They'll be calling me, calling me. They'll be calling me royalty. Best to give me your loyalty, 'cause I'm taking the world, you'll see. They'll be calling me, calling me. They'll be calling me royalty.
I rise just like a phoenix, born from the ashes. I take care of my own. Torn down where I sit. You can't suffocate my spirit, 'cause I'm the king of my own throne, my own throne. King of my own throne, my own throne. You'll never see me fall, fall. You'll never see me fall. Watch me reign, and I'll slay them all. Slay them all, slay them all, slay them all. You'll never see me reign, and I'll slay them all. Slay them all, slay them all, slay them all. You'll never see love grow. King of my own throne, my own throne grow. King of my own throne. Born from the ashes, 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 born from the. You can't suffocate my spirit, 'cause I'm the king of my own throne, throne, oh, oh, oh. King of my own throne, my own throne. You'll never see me fall, fall. You'll never see me fall. Watch me reign, and I'll slay them all. Slay them all, slay them all, slay them all. You'll never see love reign,
Won't you say why you're a stranger now? Your eyes escape mine when I sit you down. Don't you feel like we're holding on onto a fairy tale, but the magic's gone? Been months of bluffing the blushes and faking the butterflies. Wake up, yeah, I'm kicking the castle down. Ooh, yeah, I think it's time to talk. Ooh, yeah, I think it's time to talk. I think it's time to talk. Ooh, yeah, I think it's time to talk. Ooh, yeah, be true to what we want. Forget how it felt from the outset. Hope history said. Ooh, yeah, I think it's time to kinda missing how we kicked it off. Always in overdrive, now the feeling's lost. Blind to notice, we've been losing touch. Long gone fairy tale, yeah, we killed the rush. Been months of acting a fiction and staging a Valentine's. Wake up, yeah, I'm kicking the castle down. Ooh, yeah, I think it's time to talk. could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you why we always looking for more? Why we always looking for more?
Little pins and needles.
Is he getting life by his thumb, giving people like you these reactions, scaring people, making them in fear? Is he thriving off of this?
Probably. He is not a nice person. He was not a good-hearted person in life.
One of the theories that John Morell's spirit is attached to his thumb is because pieces of him are literally scattered about. But this is not the only piece.
Is it true that John Murrell was also said to have been decapitated and they can't find his head?
That's one of the stories.
He died of a lung disease, didn't he, or something?
Tuberculosis. And because he was such a notorious person at the time, his body was sent to the Nashville Medical College. And they mummified the body and put it on display with his arm extended as he was going to shake people's hands.
His body was sent to the medical college?
Yes.
At that point, did he still have his thumb and head?
Yes.
He did.
But the thumb was severed and sent to the Historical Society.
So you have documentation
Yes.
that the thumb was severed.
We have a letter.
A letter.
From somebody that states that in the letter.
But this
Files.
thumb has been in your possession, Tennessee Historical Society, for how long?
Since the early 1800s.
So this is thumb. I am familiar with some of John Murrell's ghost stories. And there are reports that many people have seen his ghost, his full apparition in the Devil's Punch Bowl in the Natchez Trace area. And being as John Murrell was in his life, an evil man, if it's true that his head is also missing from his body, I imagine that in the afterlife he would be even more vicious, that his body parts are all over the place. Do I get to touch it? John, if this is your thumb, I'm getting ready to pick it up. Do you approve?
Yes.
Okay. I gotta be careful not to drop it, right? So is it like, oh my gosh. Gosh. So this is mummified, right?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I'm a little nervous right now. I'm not gonna lie.
As I hold a piece of this famous outlaw, I wonder if his spirit is watching over me, or if my direct contact to his DNA will welcome a new attachment to the Zach Bagans ghost family.
Wow, that's incredible. Just to touch this. Can you imagine how many times he held a gun with this thumb, or how many times he killed someone with this gun, or...
John Morrell and his gang left a trail of bodies in their wake. Now his descendant, Jamie Pistol, is here to tell us about her struggles with her family's bloody legacy.
Growing up, my father always told me that I had lots of really good ancestors and then lots of ancestors that were not so good on this particular one side of the family.
Do you feel anything in that respect? Do you feel dark energy around it or anything like that?
It's really amazing that I do feel. I mean, I'm tearing up now. It's overwhelming to me, really.
Why are you getting emotional?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't have a lot of experience with this type of thing. It's probably the energy and just the fact that he did a lot of things that, you know, I know you can't. I can't control what happened in the past, but things that I'm not, you know, proud of. Because the museum actually where his house is walking distance from where I work. I spend the majority of my time. And to just know that there's something that is on display is hard.
Do you not like being around this? Can you feel things around it?
Yeah, I'm just uncomfortable. I mean, I'm okay. I'm okay, but it's just heaviness.
Mm-hmm. If you were to come into contact with the spirit of your ancestor, John Murrell, and you could talk to him and he could talk back, what would you ask him?
Why he did what he did, and what was so appealing or enticing that you felt that you had to, you know, do the things that you did.
We were planning on doing some work around the thumb just to see what happens.
Yeah.
We don't know, but
Yeah.
you know, maybe his spirit will come through, maybe he won't, but if he does come through, I thought maybe that would be a good opportunity for you to have some closure. Would you like to do that?
Yes.
Jamie agrees to join us as we attempt to communicate with the spirit of her ancestor, John Morrell.
Hi, Jamie.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good, thank you.
Why don't you have a seat?
Hi.
We are using this blood relative, along with Morrell's own thumb, as trigger objects to provoke a response.
During this, I want you to ask questions. You are his ancestor, and there was a lot of emotion, and I think that we can use that to help try to communicate.
For this session, we are using a device known as the paranormal puck, which translates electromagnetic energy fields into words, allowing spirits like this murderous outlaw to reach out to us from the past.
So I typed a question in, it reads the energy around, and selects a word.
Before we can even begin the session, while Billy is still testing out the equipment, he receives what appears to be a response from the spirit attached to this human thumb.
Whoa.
Do you have a message for Jamie? That's what I typed.
It says cut. I'm gonna have you switch. I want you to see this as he's doing that, because we're starting to get,
It's connected to you.
cut. Could that possibly mean cut thumb?
Oh, no.
Ask another question. Watch him type.
Yeah, I'll type it.
You said cut. What does that mean?
Cave.
There's people that still believe that his treasure is buried in caves somewhere on the Mississippi.
What is hidden in the cave?
Is there something hidden in the cave?
Swim?
At this moment, I don't yet understand the significance of this response.
Did you commit murder?
Did you commit murder? Drowned.
Said swim earlier, yeah.
Yeah.
We were unsure what this meant, so I send a crew to visit the region where Morel and his gang buried bodies in unmarked graves. A man offers up a story with astonishing connections to this evidence.
I was coming back from a conference in South Mississippi with a friend of mine, and we looked down here at the water, and we could see a guy standing on the edge of the riverbank down there. And there was a couple more guys in the water that had a body in between them. It was kind of foggy that morning, and it was kind of rolling in and out across the water. And we didn't know if they were fishing a dead body out, a floater. They found a floater in the water or what. And we kind of hollered, what are you guys doing? We hollered a few more times, but they acted like we just didn't even exist. And the fog came rolling back in on the water and just kind of covered them up, and they just disappeared into the fog. I kind of looked at my friend and I said, what the hell? And behind us, we heard somebody go, not hell. Of course, we spun around, it startled us, all these dead leaves and sticks and stuff. We didn't think anybody could sneak up on us, and there was nobody there. There wasn't a soul there at all.
Did you commit murder? Drowned.
Said swim earlier, yeah.
Yeah. Swim.
Swim?
Swim, drown. And now these figures appear on the riverbank. I can't help but make the obvious connection between this eyewitness's testimony in John Morel's old stomping grounds, the Devil's Punch Bowl, and our own evidence, which seems to confirm that there is some kind of intelligent entity connected to John Morel's thumb.
About what happens when you turn the TV on.
If I wanted to kill somebody, I'd take this book and beat you to death with it.
Did the killer look into that mirror?
Since I was a young boy, I've been collecting haunted artifacts, drawn to the dark and mysterious energy they carry.
The Manson murders will go down as one of the most heinous crimes of all time.
Through my career as a paranormal investigator, I've been able to build my collection. Now, I'm building a museum.
The Conjure Chest is one of the deadliest haunted artifacts in existence.
Has affected thousands of people.
I'm providing a place for people to bring their haunted items and hear their stories.
Aid people into coming into the world. Why can't we aid them in exiting?
These are my deadly possessions.
My name is Cindy Lee. I live in Phoenix, Arizona. I am the owner of a horrifically haunted object that once belonged to the man that played Dracula, Bela Lugosi. This item has caused my family so much anguish that I no longer feel safe with it. So I'm traveling to Las Vegas to donate it to Zach's museum.
Hello.
Hi.
Wow, you have a big mirror. And of course, the mirror's gonna get aimed right at me.
Good. Beware, it's an angry mirror.
Wow, this is really cool. I'm guessing the mirror has a story.
The mirror used to be in Bela Lugosi's house.
Bela Lugosi.
Yes, my uncle lived in there when I was a child. We used to visit.
Oh, huge Bela Lugosi fan. So your uncle?
We called him Uncle Bob. His name is Frank Robert Soletri, and he produced films. He did Blackenstein.
Old horror films, huh?
He, in 1982, was murdered. It's speculated like a mob hit.
Are you serious?
And it was pretty gruesome.
Can I, and I hate to ask you these details.
Whatever you want.
The
Please do.
details. Was your uncle shot or was he strangled? How was he killed?
He My uncle was in his bedroom. He was found on his knees with his head over the end of the bed. And somebody took a screwdriver to his knees and elbows. And they shot him, and then they tried to dig out the bullet with the screwdriver. And he wasn't found for a few days.
Cindy Lee's uncle was killed inside Bela Lugosi's old house, with the mirror watching.
Did they ever capture your uncle's killer?
No.
They never did. They never had any idea.
I have personal idea. It had to be somebody close that let him in, because it wasn't a forced entry. I think it was a close friend. And whatever else went on, who knows?
It's interesting because a lot of mirrors in general, a lot of ancient cultures believe that the reflections were from another realm. Many people said that they could divine the past, present, the future, and that they were portals to the spirit world. Then there is a scrying. You stare into a mirror. Many people believe that you can see gods, devils, spirits, even your own psychic mind. Actually, Nostradamus, he did scrying and predicted his own death. And what's interesting to me is that I do know a little bit about Bela Lugosi. He was into the occult. And when he filmed Count Dracula, he would often have dreams where he was dead. He said this in an interview, actually, in the 1930s. So it's interesting to me that someone like Bela Lugosi that was involved in the occult, did he use this mirror in his own occult rituals and possibly capture that killer that's never been captured? Did the killer look into that mirror? And did that mirror capture that killer's energy, that killer's soul? Possibly your uncle. Are you okay?
Yeah,
What's wrong?
nothing. It's just emotional. I'm sorry.
It can get really deep when you start theorizing the possibilities of these objects. And these objects are powerful. I have a lot of apprehension about that, man. It's
You
like,
should.
yeah. Why do you think that this mirror has a
It saw
figure?
something.
It saw something. I tend to believe that this mirror was used by Bela Lugosi, that he was doing scrying rituals with it, knowing his past in the occult. And if he did, then this would be a portal. And if the portal was left open and it captured the reflection of this murder, then that energy would still be consumed in it, and possibly the killer's soul. Who is the killer? They never caught the killer. Aside from it being from Bela Lugosi's house, does the mirror have something bad attached to it?
Very much so. I have an older daughter who, I'm sorry, did not want to come on camera because
Why?
she went through so much trauma.
Trauma connected to the mirror?
She lived on her own, and when she would be curling her hair or whatever, and she could see like a dark entity, but she could feel the teeth, like
She could feel
bite,
teeth.
like bite her neck.
The figure would come through the mirror and attack her.
She could feel whatever was in it. Energy, whatever.
Now, you're talking about trauma. What happened to your daughter? How severe was the trauma?
She moved in with us, and she shared a room with my other daughter.
Hello.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good for you, dear.
So I know it took a little bit for you to want to do this interview.
Yes.
Are you comfortable now? I want you to be comfortable with me.
Yes, I'm okay.
Okay. I just have a couple questions for you. Your mother was telling me about your sister. had some experiences with the mirror.
Many.
Just take me back and tell me what it was like to be in the room with your sister when these events started.
I was about 14. She was staying in my bedroom because she didn't want to be at home. So she didn't give me a whole lot of details at first, but when she would sleep at my house, she wouldn't want to be by herself, almost ever.
When she stayed at your house, did she ever tell you actual events?
She did one time talk to me about seeing the figure, and it terrified me. And she just kind of described the hand as very, almost the reaching.
And the hand would come out of the
Yes.
mirror and grab her.
Yes.
If your uncle's killer did look into this mirror after the murder, did this mirror take a part of him into it? This is starting to get really deep now.
I am talking to Irene about a mirror that was inherited by her family that once belonged to Bela Lugosi. We're talking about Irene's sister, who is so traumatized by this mirror that she no longer talks about it and would not come to the museum to talk to me. We get more of those details now.
She just kind of described the hand as almost the reaching.
And the hand would come out of the
Yes.
mirror and grab her.
Yes.
Did you believe your sister?
Oh, of course.
You did.
Of course. It terrified me, but just the look in her face, she was very serious. She was terrified. It was a big deal to her, so it was hard to not take that seriously.
Did she start losing her own personality?
She got where she was second guessing things, where you think you see things and are you psychotic or is that real?
Did she ever go to like a place to get help? She
Yes,
did.
a few. Talked to a priest, and this was like every day.
And that was the focus.
Yeah,
The mirror.
the mirror.
My bedroom, where the mirror was up until a couple of days ago,
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I moved
Hold
out,
on.
and my room was then the spare bedroom, and it stayed in the corner.
When you slept in that room, did anything ever happen to you?
Only once. It was very creepy to be in that room, but then I just thought it was because I had moved out.
And at
It
this time,
wasn't-
you didn't know the mirror was there,
I
which
didn't
there was no
realize.
psychosomatic
Nope.
going on.
I just was very uncomfortable. I associated it with, I moved out, this isn't my room anymore. But then one night I went to sleep in my old room, woke up from this awful dream of something attacking me, scratching me, holding me down. I just remember this vision of hands and this very dark face. And I woke up and I had scratch marks.
Are you serious?
Chest, arms, even the middle of my back where I was not able to reach. Even some of them where they broke skin. It was so surreal. I couldn't explain it.
That's incredible. So you dream about this figure, you wake up and you have scratches all over your body.
And I thought it was just a bad dream.
Right.
I'm very black and white, more scientific than.
Right. I love when this happens to a skeptic. I don't like when it attacks you and scratches you, but I love the moment of a hardcore skeptic having the experience and seeing this transformation.
I couldn't justify how I reached parts of my back, and it didn't add up.
When was the moment that you realized that you just slept in the room with the Bela Lugosi mirror?
Not too long after. I just thought it was a pretty antique mirror in the corner of that room.
What do you want to do with the mirror now?
I can't sell it, I can't give it. But if it kind of gets left behind,
You want to get rid of it? It's that serious. If it has caused this much harm in your family, with your daughter who couldn't be here today to speak about this because it was so traumatic, I'll definitely give it a good home.
God have mercy on your soul. I mean, really respect it. For real.
I will. I hate to ask this question. If this mirror was an open portal, do you think that your uncle's, and this is a tough question, do you believe that your uncle's killer could have looked into this mirror?
Oh, yeah.
If your uncle's killer did look into this mirror after the murder, did this mirror take a part of him into it? This is starting to get really deep now.
And I don't know if you can feel the energy off of it, but I don't. It likes it, and I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't think it's, you know, the one thing that we do here a lot, that I do here a lot, is we get these objects right here, and then within inches, we talk about these objects. And we theorize, and we don't know if the objects like it.
This likes it, and it's an angry mirror today.
The history of this mirror absolutely fascinates me. Hearing the first-hand paranormal attacks makes me believe this artifact can be used as a dangerous portal into the spirit realm. I believe this mirror has the power to do some serious harm and needs to be handled with caution.
Well, I am the new owner of Bela Lugosi's haunted mirror. You know, I just look in here, trying to see if somebody will appear behind me. It's crazy, you hear just the stories that come from these families of people that are just so affected by these objects. To me, it's just so fascinating to know that an inanimate object, like a mirror, could be a doorway to a world that is so mysterious, dangerous, and coming from the house of Bela Lugosi. This may be my favorite possession to date. What is inside of you? Are you the killer? Bela Lugosi do something with you? Did he use you for rituals? Are you a portal? Handwritten letters from Charles Manson.
Yeah.
With the television.
Yes.
I've just been given a mirror that once belonged to Bela Lugosi. After learning about the dark history attached to this item, I want to conduct an experiment in the isolation room to see if it holds the power we think it does.
I have an experiment that I'd like to do with all three of you. Ashley, our still photographer, works on Ghost Adventures. Aaron? Yes. What's your name?
Jackie.
You're a production assistant
Yes.
on the show here. And this is your first day?
Yep.
Did you ever think that you would be on camera doing something?
No.
Welcome to our world. Down in the isolation chamber, we like to isolate people with interesting objects. One at a time. I want you to go downstairs. You're gonna see a mirror. I want you to stare into this mirror. And I want you to look at yourself in this mirror until I call you up. That's all I'm gonna say. So everybody, right hand up. I give permission
Give permission.
that I can be used in this isolation experiment. I'm serious, I need to hear it.
And I approve it's okay.
While my brave volunteers take turns sitting in this isolation chamber, I'll be here in Nerve Center with Billy, where I can monitor them closely and be ready in case this cursed mirror has a negative effect on them.
She looks really apprehensive. Look at her.
Close on her face.
It's just really weird. I almost feel like I'm looking at somebody else.
The belief is is that if you stare into this mirror long enough, this scrying process, that you can connect with your own psychic mind, even if you never thought you had one. You almost go into a state of hypnosis. You start seeing into the spirit world. You see into the afterlife using this mirror.
As I send them downstairs one by one, they all appear to have different experiences, depending on how they choose to interact with the mirror.
Come out and show yourself. Dude.
Is there something in the mirror that wants to come out?
Oh, weird.
What did he say?
Dude, I just found myself old. Really old.
Aaron apparently had a reaction to the mirror. Sometimes it just takes the right energy to unlock.
All right, now let me see you. I saw me. Let me see you.
Whoa. What was that look?
Just saw something.
Ashley sees an unexplained light in the mirror. And what makes this interesting is that while Aaron is alone in the isolation chamber, he too sees the same mysterious light.
I swear I keep seeing something. It's like a light. It's not a shadow, it's like a light. It's a weird feeling in here, guys. I heard something right here, just like scuffle. And it just got ice cold. If you're in the room here with me, which I believe you are, can you show yourself in this mirror?
Should we get her out?
Yes. I decide to conclude our experiment and gather everyone in order to analyze their separate experiences.
And then all of a sudden I saw this light, like someone came in. I thought the camera, like someone came in the back. It was like almost like.
It was on the right.
Yeah, and I was looked over and there's nothing there.
So that you guys thought that the experiment just ended? The experiment just began. Round 2 happens in your bed tonight. So tomorrow morning when you wake up, I want you to tell me what you dreamed about, and I want to see if there's any marks on you. You would have gone down there, right? Still?
Yeah. It's too late. I already did it.
I will continue to monitor the effects this mirror may have left on my volunteers, and will be watching the rest of my museum under heavy surveillance for the next 24 hours. As I arrive at the museum in the morning, I realize the entire basement has mysteriously flooded. Much of our production equipment we store down there has also been completely ruined. I captured some very disturbing evidence on my phone.
Basement. Looks like we have a mannequin drowning. See, that's all water right there, about 12 inches. Spirits can cause floods, I believe. Oh my god. What the holy just heard sounds coming from right here. Hear that? Loud noises coming from in here. Just capturing it. Oh, this water, you don't want to touch that. That's enough for me.
There is no history of flooding in this basement, and the fact that it's just less than 12 hours after our experiment, it is hard to believe this is coincidental. At this point, I believe this mirror to be the most dangerous possession I own.
This is called murderabilia.
I'd never heard of murderabilia until I got Charles Manson's TV.
Charles Manson's television.
I'm Nick, and I bought Charles Manson's TV. When that happened, bad things started to happen. My life just started to go downhill and spiral out of control. My mother died, was out of work for 4 months, and a guy died in my driveway, and I needed to get it away from me before anything worse happens. Hey, how's it going?
Good. Come on in.
Yeah.
You want
Play
to
here?
set it there? Yeah. Are we going to watch a video?
I don't know if you want to watch a video on this TV.
Is that right?
I'm Nick.
Hi, Zach. Have a seat.
Nice to meet you.
How are you doing?
Good.
So you've brought a TV.
Yes. This is Charles Manson's TV.
Charles Manson's television.
It was.
Okay, how did you acquire Charles Manson's television?
I buy and sell cars, and this car set in a field in Pensacola, Texas. It's a real small town, and the guy I bought it from told me Charles Manson's TV was in the back. And I thought, okay, sure. So I get it home and start cleaning it out, and sure enough, in the back is this little black and white TV. It says Pelican Bay Prison, and it's got his name on the back. And next to the TV is a box with some letters in it from Manson.
Handwritten letters from Charles Manson?
Yeah.
With the television?
Yes.
Why is this stuff in this car?
Apparently the guy that owned the car was corresponding with him.
Was corresponding with Charles Manson?
Yes.
This is already a crazy story.
Yeah.
This is called murderabilia.
I'd never heard of murderabilia until I got this item.
Okay. Let me ask you something, Nick. When you set it down, I said, are you gonna play a video? And you go, well, I don't think you wanna watch anything on this. And I could tell by the way you said that, it sounds like other things started happening to you once you took possession of this.
Yes.
Okay, please.
I've had the TV, I wanna say, since about 2012, maybe 13. And for the most part, I kept it in the garage outside. We sold the house, kept it in our bedroom area.
You brought the TV into your bedroom?
Yes.
Okay.
When that happened, bad things started to happen. Was out of work for 4 months. My mother died 2015.
Sorry to hear that.
She was real young. That was pretty hard.
Yeah.
Just random things would happen. I live on the highway. There's not a lot of houses where I'm at. A guy got hit by a car on a motorcycle and died in my driveway. This guy knocks on my door and he says, "Can I use your phone?" I said, "Who are you?" What? He says, "I hit a man on a motorcycle. I think he's dead." And I looked down and there's a man in my driveway laying there, the motorcycle in pieces.
Dead. He's laying dead. So all this started happening, all this bad stuff started happening when you put this in your room.
Yes. I would call myself a skeptic when it came to this type of deal. But I have a good buddy, and anytime something bad would happen, he'd say, "It's the TV."
Really?
Yeah.
When did you start thinking that this TV that I brought into my room has bad energy to it?
When so many bad things had happened, and I'd gone through so much, I got to a point where I said, yeah, I believe it. It's the TV.
Where's the TV being stored now?
I have a good friend named Ashley, and I shipped it to her.
When you shipped it to her, how did things start feeling?
Better, much better.
Really?
Yeah.
So it happened that soon?
Yes.
So I want to know a little bit more about this TV, okay? Nick, your friend, he went through a lot of bad luck, bad stuff in a short time period after he decided to put this TV in his bedroom. And so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to see whether or not this TV really does have some type of energy that was infused in it by Charles Manson. So when you got the TV, did you feel anything from it?
But you can definitely, like, you can feel a weird energy from it. It's the kind of thing you don't really want to have around. I didn't really want to keep it inside.
Right.
So I didn't keep it directly in my apartment just in case, because I didn't really want to be that close to it.
It's interesting. I've heard a lot of objects that
are affiliated with death are haunted by people that have put the curse on the objects, like the conjuring chest. It's interesting to me to have a television set owned by Charles Manson, who was able to get into the minds of people, his Manson family, to literally brainwash them to go kill people. I'm trying to grasp my mind around how would Charles Manson, who is still alive, curse an object that he had possession of? Does he imprint some of his electrical mental impressions into these objects, ships them to other people, knowing that they are cursed and that his energy or whatever he inflicted on these objects is now being released onto people that own them? I'm just trying to theoretically think, how would this TV be cursed and do bad things to somebody like you?
I think when you have something like this around you, the bad vibe of who Charles Manson is and what he's done may have an effect on you by keeping it close to you.
Do you feel that these events are connected to this?
They have to be.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to interview Charles Manson's grandson.
Nick Kloster is the owner of a television that belonged to Charles Manson. We're discussing the possibility of Manson's evil energy being transferred to this TV.
The baggage that comes with something like this, the spookiness of it, I guess you could say, that gets to you. And like I said, I fought it for a long time and thought, no, that's not true. That can't be true. I don't believe in that kind of thing. But it got so bad where I thought, there's nothing else it could be. It's got to be this kind of stuff, and I need to get it away from me before anything worse happens.
What do you have with you?
These are letters that were found in the car with the TV, and they're all written by Charles Manson.
Are you serious? So they had a relationship?
They did. They wrote for years.
You send me something, you little something. So a lot of cussing.
A lot.
Wow. So were you able to do any research on the guy who sold Nick the car?
Yes.
Why would this guy sell this car to Nick with all of this stuff in it? Did Charles Manson start getting inside the mind of this guy and writing him all these letters and cussing him out, and then sent him a TV that possibly cursed the guy to just want to just take it, put it in a car, and let me sell the whole damn thing?
Yeah, I believe he was a criminology major. He started writing all these people, and there's letters not just from Manson. There's letters from Ramirez, the son of Sam.
But the Manson letters, are they directed to this guy?
Yes.
They are.
Every single letter he has is directed to him.
So there was a relationship there.
Absolutely. There's even a letter, I think, in the back of here that allows him a visit. I don't know if he ever took it.
Do you know if his life just fell apart?
I know he's in prison now.
He's what?
I don't know exactly what happened. I'm still trying to figure it all out, but I've heard he hired people to break into his stepdad's house and rob and murder him.
Oh my God.
And he's currently in prison.
He convinced people to kill his stepfather.
Now, it didn't work. It didn't go through.
But he did this?
Yeah.
Holy.
He's in prison for, yeah.
What did Charles Manson used to do? And got inside the minds of people and
Same
had
thing.
them do his dirty work. This story just took a big turn. Do you think that Charles Manson got inside the mind of him while they were corresponding?
I could see that, yeah. I mean, the stuff in here is really dark. They may have talked even. It may have gone further than even letters.
Interesting. Locked up in prison. Manson, he's not out on the streets, but his belongings are. And his belongings are still having the same effect. What do you want to do with the TV now? Would you like to get rid of it today? I'm offering to take this off your hands for the simple fact that, to me, how it's cursed. I study these things, I research these things, so I want to do some studies on it. I want to do some investigating of the television set. Thank you for coming out here and
Thank you for having me
sharing
today.
your story. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Nick Kloster believes this television is the cause for his life to make a terrible turn and wanted to get rid of it. So I am now the owner of a possession that belonged to perhaps the most heinous killer of all time.
Could this TV that has Manson's name on it, could he have imprinted his energy into this TV? The TV still works. I'm more curious as to know what happens when you turn the TV on and you watch the screen. There's only one way to find out. Oh. All right, it's on. Ooh, hear that? Just felt the static electricity come from the TV to my hand. Never thought about that, the static electricity that these TVs generate when you touch the screen. All I do know is that I just added another interesting object to my collection here at the museum. Ladies and gentlemen, I interview a lot of interesting people. I've interviewed satanic priests. I've interviewed Dracula's Vlad Tepes. I've interviewed his ancestor, a princess. But right now, I'm about to interview Charles Manson's grandson, Jason Freeman. And I believe that he is about to tell us that he wants to make a change today. And I want to ask him if his grandfather has the ability to infuse dark energy into objects like this TV and affect others like Nick. How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. Nice to meet you.
Thank you for coming out here. You know, just have some questions for you. You can go as deep as you want. You know, you don't have to give me your whole biography.
Yeah.
But you know, everybody wants to know, you know, what it was like, what it is like.
What it is like.
What it is like being Charles Manson's grandson.
You know, if I wanted to kill somebody, I'd take this book and beat you to death with it, and I wouldn't feel a thing. It'd be just like walking to the drugstore.
Well, growing up, I was, which I understood what my mom and dad did, you know. They didn't want that Manson name to haunt me or haunt my childhood to where I couldn't have a childhood. My mom and my grandma just said to never talk about it, never bring it up. You know, it's a cursed name that should never be talked about.
And she was married to your grandfather,
Yeah.
Charles Manson.
Him and I, we've been speaking on and off for the last 3.5 years.
You have?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
was that like?
After so long of not having so many questions not answered and just being left in the dark with the whole situation of knowing who my grandfather was, nobody would talk to me about it, and I wasn't allowed to speak about it. And it felt great.
Have you visited him in prison?
No. Before he does pass, we have to be face to face. I've got to see him. There's no getting around it.
What would you tell him?
I would give him a hug. That's what I would start with. Yep.
And how do you correspond with him?
Phone and letters.
Can you tell me about your father?
Yeah. Charles Manson Jr. that lived on the streets. He didn't have protection like they would behind bars. He was 11 or 12 when my grandfather was involved with those murders.
How did he deal with that?
I think the way he dealt with it finally when he was 37 is he killed himself. That's how he dealt with it. I just want to show the world change is within us. And I want to lift this curse off our name.
talking to Jason Freeman, who is the grandson of Charles Manson.
How are you doing now?
Great. I wrote a book about 4 years ago called Knocking Out the Devil.
What is this book about?
Just my life story. You know, just going through struggles, sitting in jail. I had to find change. I was on a path to, well, you look at my grandfather, life in prison. You look at my father, dead. I'm a third generation. What's going to happen to me? I'm going to end up, I'll be dead. I'll be dead or locked up for the rest of my life.
Do you think a lot of the hardships, just the affiliation of your grandfather and what he's done and trying to cope with that, did you have issues just trying to accept that?
I've got a personality that's just like my mind's overwhelmed with
thoughts.
Thoughts.
We're alike.
Yeah.
We're definitely alike.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, okay? To your right, there's a little TV sitting there.
Yep.
Apparently, this is your grandfather's television set. There's a manual here with some writing on it. Can you tell if that's your grandfather's writing?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Is it?
Yeah.
That is. Okay. You've authenticated Charles Manson's writing on there, and you can get up and look at it.
This is an old TV.
Do you think that your grandfather infuses his energy into his objects?
Yeah. Yeah.
When you get his letters, can you feel something from the letters?
Oh, I feel energy.
Mental power?
Yeah. Yeah, on both sides. You know, it's good and evil. I mean, we're all made up of good and evil.
Really powerful, man, to hear your story, what you've overcome, how you are now.
I want to lift that curse off my family name. I want to be baptized. I just want to show the world that change is within us. I want people to see that if I can change with my family roots, that everybody's got the opportunity to make a change in their lives. And if they can build their energy off the positive energy that I carry and that I have, even though I've been through the gauntlet.
Well, being here right now, this is your first step. We're going to be a part of it because we've arranged for this baptism, and we're going to do it.
Really?
Yeah. All right?
I want to put on a shirt that my grandfather sent to me, and I want to wear that shirt in the baptism.
Absolutely.
And I want to lift this curse off our hands.
So you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
Let's rock.
All right, brother. Good shot, man. Let's go do it.
Jason came to me looking for a way to cleanse his past, so I have arranged for a local pastor to perform a baptism. As a symbol, Jason wants to wear a shirt that was a gift from Charles Manson, his grandfather.
This shirt that I'll be wearing in the baptism is a gift straight from my grandfather.
Ready?
Always ready. I definitely want to be baptized to lift this curse from my family's name, to lift the burden off my shoulders, and just give the family name a new start, a fresh start, starting with me.
Oh, Pastor Doug. Nice to meet you. Thank you for meeting us. This is Jason.
How you doing, Doug? Nice to meet you, sir.
All right, shall we begin?
Let's do it. Go ahead and sit down if you would. Jason, I baptize you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Right on, man. Cool.
Hopefully this will give Jason a fresh start and lift the curse off his family's name.
All right, here's the new beginnings.
New beginnings, brother.
Right on.
All 5 of those family members apparently passed away.
Wow.
Body parts, entrails stored in it.
My first question was, did he cook people in it?
Since I was a young boy, I've been collecting haunted artifacts, drawn to the dark and mysterious energy they carry.
The Manson murders will go down as one of the most heinous crimes of all time.
Through my career as a paranormal investigator, I've been able to build my collection. Now, I'm building a museum.
The Conjure Chest is one of the deadliest haunted artifacts
Robert
in
the Doll
existence.
has accepted thousands.
I'm providing a place for people to bring their haunted items and hear their stories.
Aid people into coming into the world. Why can't we aid them in exiting?
These are my deadly possessions.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're witnessing the first time that I have seen an item that belongs to me. Ed Gein, inspired psycho, used to take body parts of his victims. He would take skin off of these bodies, and even bodies that he would dig up from local cemeteries, and he would tan and peel off the skin. He would make furniture out of body parts. And Ed Gein apparently used this cauldron to store entrails, and many believe would cook them in this cauldron. A few months ago, I bought this at an auction in Wisconsin, where Ed Gein was from.
A piece of property once owned by one of Wisconsin's most notorious criminals was sold this past weekend to the TV host of Ghost Adventures on the Travel Channel.
I never met the person who owned this. His name's Dan. And look at it, I'm literally shaking right now because I can feel the energy coming off of this cauldron. I bought this and I bought a shovel. And the only details that I know is that Dan, somehow, some way, his grandmother was able to buy this in the 1950s at Ed Gein's farmhouse. But there's many details that I don't know that I'm about to find out. And it is every bit terrifying in person as it is when I saw it in the photos.
My name is Dan McIntyre from Grand Marsh, Wisconsin. I sold Zach a cauldron that used to belong to Ed Gein, one of the most infamous serial killers of all time. I'm curious to see what Zach thinks of the energy surrounding the cauldron.
How you doing? Look like you're about to dig a grave. You Dan?
Yes, sir.
Hey, finally get to meet you.
Hi.
How you doing? I'm gonna grab that. Ooh. This is the shovel I bought from you also.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Yeah, good. Nice to meet you.
So this is interesting. Usually people bring objects with them, and I hear about them, I see them for the first time. This, I just saw this for the first time. It's been in the crate ever since it was shipped to me. Because I wanted to see it for the first time when you were here.
Okay.
The person who has this story. I just want to know deeper, the deeper secrets of how the cauldron affected you and other people around you. And more importantly, I want to know if the cauldron has some type of a curse, some dark energy that is inside of it. So tell me how you acquired this.
My grandmother was an antique dealer and collector and would go to auctions, and this was one of the things that she acquired at one of her auctions.
So this shovel, this cauldron came from Ed Gein's house?
Yes.
Was there a neighbor that you had that was, I believe his name was Hollis?
Yes. Yeah.
Tell me about that.
He was a neighbor of Ed Gein's, and when the discovery of the murders were made, the police were very sick to their stomachs, and they couldn't remove the bodies from where they were hanging, and they had to go get a couple neighbors. One of them was Hollis Brown.
No way. So the police were too sick to their stomachs to cut down the bodies.
Yep. They knew the people. Everybody knew each other, so they knew the people. So it's like you're watching your friend hanging dead. You're like, oh my gosh.
So you're telling me that Hollis went down there to help them cut down the bodies?
Yep.
And he positively identified the cauldron during that time.
Mm-hmm. He told me that he's seen that cauldron before, and I go, what do you mean you've seen it before? He says it belongs to Ed Gein, and that's not the first time I've seen it. He goes, that's his cauldron. So I go, how do you know? He said, because I used to, with Ed Gein's parents, cook hog fat in it, and he would lift it to take it out of the shed. I go, how can you be sure that that's the same one? He pulled up his arm sleeve. He goes, look at my hair. And his hair was standing straight up his arm. First time I've ever seen that. And he was like, I can't get near it. He goes, I get close to it. He goes, I gotta get away from it. Hollis says he just seen something that he wished that he had seen for the last time long ago that, you know, he was hoping he'd never have to see again. I remember my first experiences with it as a little boy, probably 6, 8 years old, you know, when I was told that it belonged to a mass murderer, a killer. And, you know, as a young boy, what's a mass murderer, what's a killer? Those are things that are in newspapers or on the news. It's not real life, you know, for a kid. My grandmother was planting flowers in it.
Your grandmother was planting flowers in Ed Gein's cauldron. Why would your grandmother, knowing who Ed Gein was, want to buy this? Knowing that body parts were presumably cooked inside of it, entrails stored in it. Why would your grandmother want to buy this thing?
I don't know. She never had a lot of things that were in the macabre or mysterious. My first question was, did he cook people in it? She didn't know if anyone was really cooked in it. When it was in our garage, I would get a creepy feeling from it. I never felt like I was alone. It's, you know, you walk past it and you know, it wasn't a welcoming feeling, not a warm feeling. It's more or less creepy feeling.
Although Hollis Brown, the man who personally removed the bodies from Gein's house, has since passed away, his son Karneth is here, who got first-hand accounts of his father's gruesome experience.
Come on in, sir. Have a seat. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
My name's Zach.
It's good meeting you. Yeah.
How's it going? Okay. Do you know if your dad ever told you about this cauldron or?
Yes, he did. When it was at my neighbor's, Daniel McIntyre's, my dad realized whose it was and where it came from, and the hair on his arms and his neck just stood right up.
Can I ask, when did your father pass? How long ago?
He passed January of 2012.
January 2012?
Yes.
You said that your father his hairs would stand up after talking about this and seeing it in Dan's garage.
He could still vividly remember back to that day when they found Mrs. Warden's body and had to take it down.
And your father had to help cut the bodies down?
Yes.
And that imprinted in his mind and disturbed him still 50 years later, 60 years later?
Yes, it did.
Can you tell me about your grandmother had a run-in with Ed Gein personally?
Yeah, because he was trying to take one of my aunts who was, you know, quite on the heavy side. But my grandma faced him down with a shotgun.
Ed Gein?
Yeah, she put the gun right to him and said, get out of here or die.
Do you think Ed Gein would have possibly tried to kill your aunt?
As crazy as he was, I think he would have.
And your grandmother took a shotgun, aimed it at Ed Gein, and chased him off?
Yes.
I said, tell me everything you saw. And he told me things. He said it looked like in the barrels, there was definitely blood and guts.
I am speaking with Dan McIntyre, the man I bought the Ed Gein cauldron from. We are discussing the deranged details of a neighbor's first-hand account of what was found inside Ed Gein's home.
I said, tell me everything you saw. And he told me things that he saw I couldn't believe. He said there was a body hanging. Next to the body, there were 2 barrels. And on the other side of the barrels was the cauldron. So there was the body, a barrel, and the cauldron. He He said it looked like in the barrels, there was definitely blood and guts.
I know he was an expert in tanning human skin. So I know that he would skin the bodies, take the skin and make things. This is a list of what the police found on Ed Gein's property when they went to arrest him. They found whole human bones and fragments, a wastebasket made of human skin, skulls on his bedposts, a corset made from a female torso, skinned from shoulders to waist. He had a suit made from women's skin so that he could wear it and become his mother. Bernice Warden's entire head in a burlap sack, Bernice Warden's heart in a plastic bag in front of Gein's pot-bellied stove, a belt made from female human nipples.
Yes, Hollis told me he's seen that.
A pair of lips on a window shade drawstring, a lampshade made from the skin of a human face. This dude was messed up.
Yeah, there's a couple more things Hollis told me that's not on the list. The first thing he noticed was a nipple doorbell. Now that's a piece of information that he told me that I've not